Once again, in for the RYZE Hoops Rewind Fast Forward, I'm Cory McCartney, joined by Dan McDonald and Carter Wilson. Fellas, it's good to see you.
Thanks for having us, Cory.
Now, guys, let's run it back first on the rewind. And Dan, I know you were hyped for the Longhorn 5-Star Challenge in Milton, and it certainly sounds like it didn't disappoint.
Yeah, so there was some last-minute schedule changes, but it ended up being an awesome night. It was two great games. The first one was Newton High School out east of Atlanta against Germantown out of Tennessee, and Mike Miller, actually coaching team, former NBA star, his son is a top 100 recruit going to Creighton, had 32 points. I think it was 7 for maybe 11 on threes, but just a lights-out shooter and was a big part of bringing them back. But Newton's group, Carter highlighted the 2023 class, I think it was last week. Newton has 3 guys that are really, really impressive, but the one that's really stood out was Stephon to me. He's a 6'5" guard. He could literally do everything. Like, I think he's going to be a top 100 recruit in that class. So he's really, really talented. So that was an awesome game. And we finished up with Milton. They were supposed to play Lake Norman out of South Carolina, but ended up playing Denmark from right up the road there in Forsyth County. So that ended up being a game where Denmark jumped on them by 17 points in the third quarter. And Bruce Thornton went out with his eye scratched, and Kanaan Carlyle took over from that point. Dominant defensively, getting to the rim, hitting threes, and they ended up pulling it out in overtime. So it was a really exciting night over at Milton.
Well, Carter, when we look at from your end, I know you got to look at Hart County, and why are they going to be a title contender in Class 3A?
Yeah, so I took the trip up there to watch them against Elbert County, which is actually a really good rivalry game. You get kind of both sides coming together there. They played a home and home last week, so they played each place in the same week, back-to-back games, which was pretty cool. But yeah, Hart County they're going to be really good. They kind of have a 3-headed attack, a sophomore, junior, senior. So you have Sean Webb, senior guard, and he's kind of the guy that makes them go. J.C. Curry was the guy that stole the show when I went up there a couple days ago. So he's definitely a guy that can get to the rim. He's highly athletic, a good guard, good size. And then Taj Johnson, the sophomore, he's a guy that can hold down the middle and protect the paint, and he can score it in a bunch of ways. And they have 3 guys that can beat you on any given night. I think in 3A they're going to be a state title contender. A lot of teams don't have that kind of 3-headed attack at that level. So they'll definitely be a team when it's all said and done that it is going to be there.
Dan, let's hit fast forward, and from a big picture standpoint, how deep is it across all the classifications when you start looking at, and Carter mentioned one of them there, but the number of elite teams in Georgia this year?
Yes, that's kind of been a thing that I've been noticing the last couple of weeks as we've kind of gotten ramped up a high school season is there are a lot of really good teams in every classification. And at the risk of forgetting somebody, I'm not going to try to list them all here. But, I mean, in 6 and 7A particularly, like, I think you could probably get to about 10 teams where you're like, yeah, I could see a way where they win the state championship. So, yeah, no, it's been really good. I'm kind of curious to see how the rest of the season plays out next month and a half or so.
Carter, it's the holiday season, which means holiday tournaments, and I know you've got your sights on some unsigned seniors at one of the events this week.
Yeah, I think the Lemon Street Classic over at Marietta. So it's Friday. It was Saturday, and then today and tomorrow. So I mean, they've had a lot of good teams roll through there. Like Dan mentioned, there's a ton of good teams in the state that they don't get as much love as maybe the other teams, but still really good teams. One guy I really am going to have my eye on is from Evans out in Augusta, and that's Rashad King. He was one of the more intriguing guys I think that we have that's unsigned. I loved him this travel season with AC Georgia. He's 6'5". He's got kind of this versatile skill set where he can kind of play the 1, he can play the 2, he can play the 3. I mean, he probably can play the 4 if you want him to. So he can play all over the place. But he's got those lead guard skills where he can pass it really well. He gets to the rim. I mean, you don't really see a lot of guys like that at 6'5" that are athletic and, have, strong builds. And, he's got all of that. So I think he's one of the more intriguing guys that we have left. I think they're playing Norcross tonight. So I think I'll have a close eye on him moving forward.
Well, you'll be able to get all of that and everything else. Just go to RYZEHoops.com. Make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Twitter at RYZE Hoops. Carter, Dan, happy holidays. Enjoy the Hoops week.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Cory.